the flame was very far from where they were. Just like Talis's Black Palace, the dimensions of the guild house were daunting. It seemed impossible to traverse the beams and make it there alive. I don't doubt your intellect, but I hope this questioning has a point, Senorita. I can't see behind me, but, right now, I'm counting 16 wisps behind you. You've got my back, right? Freya had not been keeping a watchful eye on the road ahead, as she had been staring at the flame, contemplating. Standing on tiptoes, she looked behind the mystery man. A large dragon wisp was at the head of a very large pack of all manner of twisted dust beasts. The menacing wisp had its mouth wide open, with its hands nearly at the mystery man's throat, eager to throttle him. "Oh, you're fine," Freya said dismissively, as she realised that a dust storm was beginning to rage around them in every direction. "Well, must fly," Freya added cheerily as she pushed the mystery man off the beam. As the mystery man free fell to the ground far below them, Freya dived and hugged him tight. Forgetting herself for a minute, she enjoyed the warm embrace and sweet cologne. Tapping her on the shoulder, he said calmly, Senorita, we're about to die." "Oh, right, sorry." Freya blushed apologetically as she lifted the mystery man up and flew towards the solitary flame. The wisps merged into a thick black dust storm, littered with stars as they poured from the vaults of the ceiling after them. Individual wisps began to emerge from the dust in an attempt to grab the flying pair and pull them into the eye of the storm. The mystery man did his best to fix his glare, but the swarm was thick and he could not stare at them all. As Freya hurtled up towards the flame, increasing numbers of wisps appeared from the beams and dived down after them, joining the storm. The mystery man darted his gaze, looking in every direction, causing images from nightmares to become visions of beauty, before exploding into dust and returning to the storm. It was impossible to kill a wisp with just a look, so the writhing ball of dust just grew in size, and the wisps, in turn, grew in boldness, no longer shying away from the mystery man's glances. One wisp, in particular, stuck her tongue out at the mystery man, before turning back into her more menacing form and diving at him. "They're cheating," he called, as he kicked the wisp into dust. "What?" "They're not running away. We're nearly there, Senorita. I know you can do it. Just head straight for the flame." With renewed determination, Freya lifted them up and sped towards the flame as the liquid black dust storm started to wrap itself around the pair. Looking down at the mystery man, Freya shouted in panic, "I don't see a door!" "All is not what it seems, Senorita. Trust me. Head for the flame." Looking up, Freya could suddenly appreciate that. The face of a giant wisp with pixie features and a cheeky smile began to rise from the wall in front of them. She stared at it intently, willing it to leave, but it just kept coming. "Ah." For the first time, the mystery man sounded uncertain. "No wonder they've started to cheat. It's no use staring at the wisp now. Once a wisp queen appears, all bets are off. You have done well to get us this far, but now we need an extra boost. Please, allow me." With that, the mystery man flipped them over to carry Freya below him, holding her close to his chest as he soared towards the flame. In utter disbelief, Freya shouted, "You can fly? You can fly, and you let me do all the hard work? Why did we even start walking on the beams in the first place?" The mystery man stared unflinchingly at the flame as he called back, "I'm sorry, Senorita. We needed to get to the beams to find the flame. I didn't know you could fly, and it would have been difficult for me to hold you and fly around trying to find it." "And the other part?" asked Freya disapprovingly. The mystery man gave a wry smile as he delivered his smooth reply. "You can't blame me for enjoying being held so close by such a beautiful woman." Freya was speechless. She wanted to slap the mystery man for his cheek, and yet could not help enjoying his flirtatious remark. "Senorita, wrap your legs around my body and hold yourself as close to me as possible." "Yeah, right." Freya was sure she wasn't going to hold him any closer. Well, almost sure. "If you want the door to break something, then that's your choice," he replied lightly. "What?" exclaimed Freya as she dived onto the mystery man, burying herself in his arms. The Wisp Queen realised what was about to happen and switched her fairy tale looks for that of nightmares as she tried to grab the flying pair. The mystery man dived, swooping up and under her giant flailing arm. The Queen's arm batted away much of the raging dust storm that had surrounded them. The remaining wisps separated from their cohesive cloud to perform artful acrobatics around the Queen and reform as a smaller storm behind them. The mystery man called out to Freya, "Here we go!" The flames suddenly changed into an inferno. Leaping from the wall, it engulfed them both. The fire sealed around the pair, sucking back into the wall before returning to a solitary flame. The dust storm ploughed into the flame and flowed over the wall to return to the beams and await the next intruder. The Wisp Queen smashed her fist on the floor before turning back into her fairy form and giggling as she scattered to the wind. A thunder of flame blasted its way into a small attic room as the mystery man shot through and placed Freya on the creaky, dust-strewn floor. The pitch of the roof was steep, providing little headroom, let alone space to fly in. "Where are we?" spluttered Freya as she batted away the dust. "The loft," replied the mystery man as he straightened his jacket. "Most of the rooms in the Black Guild House have vaulted ceilings, except this one, where the wisps protect the entrance." Looking around, all Freya could see were cobwebs and dust. "It's hard to see what's worth protecting," she said unimpressed as she brushed away a cobweb. The mystery man gently pulled Freya by the arm to one of the window alcoves which lined the roof, holding her close. "Let me explain," he said softly. "In relative terms, the Black Guild is new. A long time ago, the Avatar's Guild was formed to look after the Akatsuki population. Their remit was to help those in need, but at the same time ensure there was balance between each of the four gates, and, importantly, the world at large. There were, of course, those who wanted a different world, governed by different rules. Although these types were normally found in the South Gate, all gates have those that want to change the balance of power, be it between the gates themselves or between the gates and the human world. As you can imagine, the Avatar's Guild would step in before things took a turn for the worse. However, there were those in the guild that sympathised with the people they stopped. They too had begun to want a different world. They ended up splitting from the Avatar's Guild and formed the Black Guild. Those within this guild work to upset the balance. They would dearly like to see the South Gate become the dominant force in the four gates. They would even more dearly like to see the human race live in a small corner whilst they dominate the landscape. "And the loft comes into this how?" asked Freya as she brushed away another cobweb. "Whatever you do, do not take a step forward." The mystery man stretched out his arm and moved it deliberately to the left, then to the right. As he did so, the wooden planks stacked one atop the other and came to rest at both ends of the room. Silently swirling in front of them was something akin to a black hole. Tiny stars lit at its edge and orbited slowly. Within this thin rim of light, nothing could be seen. The Black Guild House came into being through this portal. Once built, the guild members followed through to fill it. On the other side of this disc is the Avatar's Guild House. Once through, the Black Guild sealed their end of the portal. "Wow!" exclaimed Freya, awestruck. "That's amazing." Turning to the mystery man, she looked confused. "Is wood enough to stop others coming through?" The mystery man smiled. "Ever the analysing Eastgate dweller. To answer your question, yes. As where they sit, they disrupt the field of the portal, rendering it useless." "I take it we are to jump through this thing. But, just to satisfy my analytical side, how do we know that the portal isn't sealed on the other side? I'm sure it will be open, but if Senorita wishes, we can test that theory. Excellent idea, replied Freya, eager to look before leaping. What do we have to do? Looking at the ring Freya had left on her little finger, he said, I need one of those trinkets you have from the Guild of Gold. Freya looked distraught as she cupped her finger close to her chest. What? My sparklies? You can't test using my sparklies. They're far too expensive. What about your sunglasses? It is pretty dark in here after all. I'm sure you could afford to take them off. I can't. The glasses complete the look. You're not even wearing half of the rings you bought, so throw one in. If the portal is open on the other side, nothing will happen and you can collect your ring. All right, fine, she said begrudgingly. But if I lose this ring, you have to get me a replacement. Freya materialised a light blue sapphire ring in a platinum clasp and held it over the portal, admiring it for a moment, before letting it go. A flash of white light was accompanied by an unnerving crackle. The mystery man looked dumbfounded. Still looking at the hole, he gently patted Freya. I'll make sure I get you a really nice ring. After all, if we hadn't done this, we'd both be disintegrated right now. Disintegrated? Oh. The portal has never been sealed on the Avatar's Guild side before. They always left it open just in case any of the Black Guild changed their minds. Things are worse than I feared. Even the Avatar's Guild is protecting itself from the Black Guild now. Come, we must find another way out. With another sweep of the mystery man's arm, the floorboards fell back into place, covering the portal. Freya turned and opened the window behind them to gaze out at the sprawling black mass of the Black Guild house below them. The courtyard was as dark and depressing as Talis's Black Palace, with the exception of a small hall in the distance. Freya could see that it was well lit with the blue-white torches. What's over there? She asked, turning to the mystery man. Why is it so bright? Well done, Senorita. I like your thinking. His enthusiasm came as a bit of a shock to Freya. That room is where the Shadow Gate lies. It is a gateway to the Darkstalkers' world. It is well lit to ensure that any Darkstalkers coming through do not instantly hide in the shadows. The light leads all the way to the council room, where the Black Guild will discuss contracts with the Darkstalkers. So, the Darkstalkers are not part of the Black Guild? No. They are assassins for hire. They have even been used against the Black Guild in the past. What has the Shadowgate thingy, the door to a world of assassins, got to do with our escape? Everything, replied the mystery man with a wry smile. Grabbing Freya's hand, he jumped out of the window and off the roof. They flew down across the courtyard and through a small window from which the light was flowing. The mystery man put his finger to his lips and pointed up towards the rafters. We need to wait up there, he whispered. Don't worry, there are no wisps here. The Darkstalkers would eat them. Once safely in the rafters, Freya looked down to see Odin waiting in front of a dark grey oval stone structure, which was a jumble of tormented human faces, large serpents and demons, sitting on a raised platform. Rippling black liquid filled the middle of what, she had no doubt, was the Shadowgate. Freya turned and whispered urgently to the mystery man as she pointed down. Odin has Havoc's string. I need to get it back. As he too looked down at Odin, the mystery man leaned close to Freya. Do not worry. Odin's rambunctious roar must have damaged his hearing over the years. The mystery man opened his hand in front of Freya, and light sparkled off the ball of gold string. I'm not even going to ask how you managed it. I'm just grateful that you did. Thank you, said Freya as she took back the string. Look, something's happening, whispered the mystery man. Below them, the Shadowgate had stopped rippling. Darkstalkers strode through the blackness and stood around the gate looking as gaunt and menacing as ever. About time, barked Odin. So, which one of you is here to talk business? I am, declared a shrill and assertive voice. Freya did not know who she was, but, as she gazed down at the thin, pale woman who strode purposefully out of the shadow gate, she went cold. For a moment, Freya wondered if this woman was originally from Eastgate. Her neo-Gothic look of armour plating and leather could easily be something that some of her more radical compatriots would wear. Something wasn't right, though. It was then she realised that the armour plating covering her shins, chest and forearms was black material. Such a substance absorbs energy quickly. Wearing it for long periods would kill. Freya was already feeling drained by being in a building made from it. Freya's mind was made up. This was no Eastgate dweller. The back of her neck and head was protected by a high, fan-like collar of black material. Such a thing would drain the mind of any ability to think. No, this woman was something different. She could beat black material at absorbing energy, and that made her possibly the strongest person Freya had ever seen or heard of. "Take me to Florin, immediately," she demanded. Yes, of course, this way." Odin was clearly flustered by the woman's appearance. Freya would never have believed he could be so nervous and obedient had she not just seen it with her own eyes. The Darkstalkers flanked the woman and followed Odin out of the room. As the woman walked, the ground beneath her feet decayed, leaving a trail of deep footprints in the floor all the way to the exit, which forcibly slammed shut behind her. After the ringing of the slamming door had subsided, Freya turned to the mystery man. "Who was that?" she asked in amazement. "And who is Florin?" "That is Entropy. She is Queen of the Darkstalkers, and is the embodiment of her namesake. Everything she touches has the energy sapped from it, causing it to decay. That is why she wears black material. It is the only thing that can survive her touch, and even that needs to be replaced frequently. Florin is the Guild Master, leader of the Black Guild. A meeting between those two cannot be good. She is probably enraged at Requiem's killing a Darkstalker. Such a thing has not happened for many years." Freya beamed an appreciative smile and clenched her fist at the news. "Yes! Way to go, Requiem!" Looking at the footprints of decay that Entropy had left in her wake, Freya smirked. "I'd like to see Ligaze tell her where to stuff it. I don't think his boomerang of time would cut it somehow." "The coast is clear. Now is the time to use the gate," said the mystery man, gliding down to stand in front of it. Freya followed close behind, having no desire to test the theory that there weren't any wisps up in the rafters. "So what now? Do you know how to use it?" asked Freya. "Yes," replied the mystery man, lost in concentration. "When I say so, you must walk into the darkness. I will try to guide you to the Amazon." The mystery man occupied himself with pressing the contorted faces and serpents on the shadow gate. As he did so, their eyes lit up as they moved. Walking behind the gate, he called, "Are you ready?" "Aren't you coming too?" asked Freya. The mystery man replied without looking at Freya, concentrating instead on the shadow gate. "I'm afraid not, senorita. But don't worry about me, I'll be fine." "I'm ready," called Freya, attempting to appear unconcerned that he would not be joining her. "Oh, and thanks, mystery man, for everything." The mystery man pressed some more faces on the back of the gate. Suddenly he remembered something and poked his head around the side. "Although I'll do my best, senorita, I cannot guarantee where this gate will take you, so it would be wise to hold your breath." "What?" demanded Freya, startled by the comment. "Now!" shouted the mystery man. Freya had no time to argue. She took a deep breath and ran through the gate to freedom.